Radical.
Welcome to Flea Market Stories, documenting one man's journey into the world of flea marketing. You got to remember the failures. You got to. And this whole month, pretty much, the flea market has been a failure of a month. Now, I don't know if a lot of that is on me. I don't know if a lot of that is just on the fact that it's the hottest point of summer and back to school. There's many other vendors that have told me they've had next to nothing days. In fact, this past Sunday, one vendor came by and straight up gave me a t-shirt that they couldn't sell. Another person around lunchtime, the Russian girl came by and she said, "Guess how much I have sold?" I was like, "How much have you sold?" "A big goose egg, 0. So it's not just me. But I always thought if I put a lot of time and effort, as I always do, into how everything looks and having a nice variety of things, I would be fine. I would be perfect. To tell you how bad things are this month, I'm barely selling PS4 games. And that's insane to think. Because in the past, if I ever had anything on PS4 that was even a relevant game and not a sports game, I would sell it pretty quickly. But not so this month. I gotta take ownership for a particular failure that I had Sunday that's bothered me for days. And one thing I promised myself I would never do would be back off of my prices for not a good reason, or let something go for closer to what the customer wants it than to what I want for it. It's one thing I said I wouldn't do. And I guess I wound up doing it because I was just worn down. I was just worn down from the bad sales day, and I just kind of needed a win. But that's not cool. It's not. I should have planned ahead to deal with it. It's a thing that it mentally gets to you, I suppose. As the day goes on, if you have a certain amount of sales, then you're like, well, I hit my quota. I'm fine. I can even leave early. That's how I feel some days. But if you're at a point where you're not getting sales, people are not coming by, they're staying at home, I shouldn't have done it. But it's not all just because a random person came by and they wanted an Xbox 360 for a price lower than I had it. This is kind of a special situation. This is the third time a group of Hispanics had been there inquiring about a system. The first time, I was getting ready to leave, and I told them, I was either almost out of systems or one might have been having a minor issue with it, but I told them to come back the next week. They come back the next week, and they're looking over the systems, and I'm going over the pricing of the systems. Now I sell them as bundles, right? So I had this one Xbox 360 Slim I sold as a bundle, which was with a 250 gigabyte hard drive and 5 games of their choice, with a wireless controller and a 1-year warranty for $150, which, any way you look at it, that's a good deal when you factor in the warranty. Now, not everyone feels that way. Not everyone feels that way. And honestly, when it comes to the warranty, I might be, I want to say, I don't know if I say that on YouTube. That's kind of graphic. I don't want to say anything graphic. You know what The Undertaker, the wrestler, would do when he was about to deliver the tombstone? Puts his finger up to his neck. You know that, but I don't want to say the graphic. I might be doing that to myself by ultimately attaching a warranty to each one of these Xbox 360s. Because there might be a day where, let's say I've sold 100 of them. Then pure percentages, one's going to come back and I'm going to need to replace one of the systems. So I might rethink that whole 1-year warranty thing. But I like sticking with the multiple games with a system combination. Because I'm figuring if you're buying a system, then you're going to want games for it. Unless it's somebody replacing a system that they got that was broken. Fair enough. But a part of that is on me because, let's say, I only have 3 trays around 50 to 60 360 games where I should have at least 100 to choose from. Then I could say, I have over 100 games to choose from. I'm sure there's 5 that you will find that you will love. But there's another problem here. And this is a core weakness that I need to address as soon as possible. That led into me actually winded up, well, I'll finish off by telling you how much I let the system go for. My kryptonite is dealing with Hispanic people that cannot speak English. That's my kryptonite. And maybe from a strategy, maybe it's a great strategy if some of them actually can speak English and they choose not to, by annoying me to the point where I have to keep talking to them through the phone where, you hit the translator and it's slowing down me doing anything else other than dealing with them. Who knows, maybe one of them can actually speak English, or more of them, but they're doing that as a strategy. I don't know. It's a brilliant strategy, actually, to slow roll down somebody, to get them to slow roll and get them to where like they just kind of want to get rid of you and get you out of their hair. That's a great strategy, but I don't know if that's the case here. Going back and forth, what bothered me, and it could have been something in the translation where one of them might have actually insulted and said, like, it's a, come on, it's just a shitty old Xbox or something like that. I don't know if that was exactly. So I gave him benefit of the doubt. Maybe that's something, but I don't see how it could not pick that up as something. Also, that's a good strategy to say, like, well, come on, it's just a shitty old Xbox or something like that. Again, that would be a great strategy. But when you're selling things at a place like that, you're taking on people. You should have the resolve to stick to your guns on things. But I was weak. I was broken down. I was sleepy. I was tired, and that's on me. Maybe if I had a full 8 hours of sleep the night before, maybe I would have been able to take on that situation a little bit better. Maybe I just physically, and you got to understand here, after each shift at the flea market, I've already worked a shift at work before, and I have to go to work after that. So that sucks. I have to deal with that. So all these things was a perfect tornado that kind of like led, is a perfect storm that led into me selling that Xbox 360 Slim for $100. Now, I didn't sell it with a game originally, because he wanted the system without a game. All right. Now, I had a royal fuck up here because I underestimated these people because I was trying to be positive, and I forgot to mention that there's a Kinect and Kinect Adventures along with it. Well, I gave him the Kinect, which comes with Kinect Adventures, and then he asked me, can I switch this out for another game? Brilliant. Well played. I marked that down. I marked that down to remember that shit. And I said yes. Because that was my failure. I should just shut the fuck up. But I did not. So that's my failure. You can tell how defeated I am in this moment. But the worst part of it is, because I'm sleepy, because I'm not my normal self, because I missed things. I forgot that I had a game already in there, and I didn't take it out before I turned it off, which was Grand Theft Auto, Battle of Gay Tony, and Lost and the Damned. Just about the last game I'd like to give away for free. But essentially that's what happens, because I guarantee you that they are not coming back. They are not going to be bringing that game back. And if they do, I would be surprised, and I would probably just say to keep it anyway because they're honest. Well, I might not. It just depends. I might say, thank you. A heartily thank you. And the next time I do a dealing with them, I give them a deal for being honest. But in most all cases, they don't bring that back. And because they're Hispanics, and this may sound a bit racist, I'm sorry. Because they're Hispanics, I don't remember them quite as much. Because they all seem like a collective to me at times. That might come off as incredibly racist. It just, you know what it is probably the fact that I can't speak to them in the language. Not the same case with anyone of Hispanic origin that can speak English to me. It's different. I don't know, it's hard to explain the connection. It might be the same way if there's like a lot of Russians, or pick any other group of people that's not Caucasian, that can't speak English. I might feel the same exact way. So it's not a skin color thing, it's just a not able to speak my language kind of thing. But I'm taking mental notes of all these failures, all of these. Now you might argue, did you lose money? No, I didn't lose money. In fact, the 360, it's just a couple parts I found I didn't know I had. So it's a surprise to me. Just some stuff I was found laying around in different boxes. I did get $100 at $100 sale. But another point of failure that I have to address is the fact that I have wireless controllers out there, but I don't want to put wireless controllers out there because batteries are going to run down, and it's a prime ability for people to steal something, because if my attention is elsewhere and they pick up a 360 controller and they're playing a game, they could just walk off with the controller. It's easy. Just wait till I'm not looking and just, hey, walk off with the controller. There's no wires to unplug. It's just a simple motion. Oh, go to the right. He's not going to see. Make like you're putting the controller down and slip it off the table, slip it in your pocket. It's easy. So what I do is I connected the long physical cable to it, and I thought about even also putting some zip ties on the cable and the controller, and then later I could snip the zip ties. Then I'll have to explain to them it's done to prevent theft. And then I'll say something like little kids, even though little kids are probably not going to be the ones stealing, it's probably going to be adults. So, of course, as we're boxing up the system, he rightly, admittedly, thinks that's part of the deal because it wasn't stated on the paper that it was not. I don't think it was, because it's just a solution. And I would explain to somebody that spoke English at the end of it, this is plugged in, or you can have your choice between this or the controller backing. Meaning, I think they're always going to choose the battery back pack. Oh no, what I did was I took the battery back pack and I pulled it back. That's what I did to kind of like ramp down on theft. Okay, that was my thinking behind it and everything, which is not a bad plan, because if someone's going to want to steal a wireless controller, they're usually going to want a wireless controller. They unconnect it, doesn't have the back to it, they might go, damn, it doesn't have the back to it. I'd have to go find the back. But you could tell how much thought I put into everything that goes on at the flea market. There's days that I spend just free to myself, just sitting down, thinking about what ways can I improve my business. Because I take this shit very seriously. You all can tell this. I'm not just there for fun. I'm there to build a successful business. Now, I have to remember the failures. Part of growing is remembering the failures that you have, not only at things like the flea market, but in life. So, I will take this advice that I give myself now. I will remember these failures, and I will come back and I will grow stronger from it.